So let's talk socialism. So a lot of you want socialism. Uh, you don't know what it is. You think you know what it is. You think it's a bunch of free goodies and all kinds of free healthcare and free daycare and free college and free this and free that. And I lived under that system behind the Iron Curtain. So big misconception is that there was communism behind the Iron Curtain, which it wasn't. It was socialism, just run full-blown socialism, not like in Western Europe or northern countries, Scandinavia. It was full-blown socialism with no private business or anything, run by the dictatorship of the Communist Party. So it doesn't make a difference if socialism is run by the dictatorship of a party, no matter what it calls itself, like the Democratic Party or whatever. Of course, nothing is for free. Everything comes with a price, and somebody has to pay for it. So you think that let's take all the money from the rich people, right? And we're going to pay for it. Well, let's look back at history. Let's look back at what happened in my country of Czechoslovakia and the whole Eastern Bloc. So when the communists took over all these promises, so yes, they stole everything that the noble families, the wealth they were accumulating for hundreds, sometimes over 1,000 years. Then they came after the bourgeoisie, so the capitalists, okay? The big ones stole everything. Then the small ones, like my great-grandfather that worked hard his whole life in a restaurant that he bought. First worked hard working for somebody else, then he bought a restaurant, then he sold a restaurant, and for that restaurant he bought a small apartment building. It was like 6 flats, 6 apartments, and that was going to be his retirement because there was no Social Security retirement at the time. Well, then the communists came, and then they eventually took his as well, because he was the evil bourgeoisie that exploited the poor proletariat, the workers, where he exploited only himself and his own family, and he was one of the lucky ones that didn't go to prison or didn't get killed or didn't get shipped off to a gulag. So eventually they stole everything from everybody, even from regular workers, if they had a too big of a house. First they moved in a family into your house because your house was too big. There are already calls in Germany that if your house is too big, so many square feet per person, if there's too much, you have to let somebody else move in. So that's what happened. And then eventually they actually moved you out and put you somewhere else. So everybody lost everything unless you were, of course, were a member of the Communist Party and you got some stuff. But it wasn't enough money to fund all the programs. And the problem with socialism is, as Margaret Thatcher said, eventually you run out of other people's money, and that's what happened, the whole Eastern Bloc. And because socialism doesn't create wealth, it couldn't pay for everything that it was giving away for free. So, of course, it wasn't for free. So then they went after everybody, the regular workers, okay? They went after you. They will tax you, high taxes. The government controlled all the prices. So the prices were constantly going up, and your wages were not equally going up. And on top of it, they still taxed you on your wages. And they were the only employer, the government. And the kicker is that then they made it that you have to work. There was no being on some welfare program. You had to work. And if you didn't work, you went to prison. And supposedly we owned everything together, we the people, right? We own all the factories, we owned everything together. But yeah, you couldn't use it. You had no access to it. And so very few people, the Communist Party and only the top brass, they actually, control everything, and they had all the goodies. They had the power, and they had the money, and they had the freedoms. They didn't have the restrictions that we had, that we couldn't travel and all kinds of stuff, no freedom of speech or no freedom of press. Pretty much we had no rights. But that, to talk about everything socialism is It's for a long discussion. And of course, today's generation, they see a video that's, more than 10 minutes and they're not even going to watch it. So I'm going to cut this up into smaller pieces. But it's a hell. Socialism is hell. You don't want to live in it. You have no idea what it's all about. And you would not be able to handle it. You think you're going to have some rights in socialism. You won't have any rights. And taking from the rich is not going to fund everything. And at the end, in socialism, yes, we were, besides the top 1 or 5%, we were all equal. We were all equally poor and equally oppressed and equally without any rights, without any hope, without any prospects. Unless you join the Communist Party. But of course, as a regular member of the Communist Party, you really still had not much benefits. It was just that they would leave you alone, okay? And it was a nightmare. So wake up, vote for Republicans, vote for Donald Trump that's trying to stop this crazy socialist train of the Democratic Party. Please. I know what I'm talking about. And there is nowhere else to go. If you think that you're going to run away somewhere, where? Another socialist, half socialist country like Canada or Europe, where you have no freedom of speech. United States is the only one that's, till now, you still have freedom of speech. So use it, and freedom of vote. So go vote. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like this, subscribe and click on the notification bell.